There is a photograph on my kitchen wall, has been there for 51 years. A woman and a young man standing in front of a red barn. The woman has her hand on the young man's arm and she is squinting into the sun and smiling. The young man is in an army uniform. He is 22 years old in that photograph. His name was Robert Kellerman. I need to tell you what I knew about Robert that his mother never found out. I need to tell you what I have been carrying since 1945. And I need to tell you why I hung that photograph on my kitchen wall every single morning for 51 years, even though looking at it was the closest thing to punishment. But first I need to tell you about a farm in Pennsylvania in the summer of 1944, because nothing makes sense without the farm. My name is Friedrich Weber. I was born in Heidelberg in 1926. My father repaired watches. My mother made bread on Fridays. I was 17 years old when they put me in a uniform and sent me to North Africa, and 19 years old when an American soldier pointed a rifle at me in Tunisia, and I raised my hands and the war was over for me. They put me on a ship. I did not know where the ship was going. I did not know until I saw the coastline that I was going to America. I want to try to explain what that felt like. 3 weeks earlier I had been fighting Americans. Now I was being taken to their country. Camp Reynolds was in western Pennsylvania, Mercer County. I was there for 4 months before they began the work assignments. That is what they called them, work assignments. The German prisoners were sent to farms and to canneries across the region. The Americans needed labor. Their men were overseas. We were there. I was assigned to the Kellerman farm outside a town called Chambersburg, Franklin County, 60 acres of wheat and corn, and one large red barn that I would spend 6 months painting and repairing. Margaret Kellerman was 53 years old that summer. Her husband Harold had died in 1940. She ran the farm herself with 2 hired men and the occasional help of neighbors. She was the first person since my mother who treated me like I was a person, not a prisoner, a person. When my English failed, we used the dictionary together, and sometimes we laughed at the wrong words I chose. Her son Robert was stationed in England. She got letters from him every 2 weeks. She read me parts of them sometimes, the parts she thought were safe to share with a German prisoner. I need to tell you about something that happened in Tunisia before my capture that I never told Margaret. My unit had been part of an engagement near a town called Medjez El Bab. I saw what happened. There were American casualties. One of them, and I saw this clearly, I saw his dog tags. One of them was a soldier from Pennsylvania. The name on the dog tags was not Robert Kellerman. It was someone named Kellerman, James Kellerman. I did not put these things together until the winter of 1944. Margaret showed me a letter from her sister-in-law, Helen. I understood that I had walked past the body of Margaret's brother-in-law. I never told her. Robert came home on leave in November 1944, 2 weeks. A young man in an army uniform got out and looked at the German prisoner in his field. He stood very still. He came out to the barn. He looked at the work I had done. He ran his hand along one of the new beams. He said, "You do good work." Something about 2 young men finding a way to be decent to each other. Robert left on a Thursday morning in late November. Margaret cried, not in front of him, after the truck left. I heard her from the hallway, and I went back outside to the barn. Some things a man should not witness. Robert was killed in Germany in February 1945. His mother received the telegram on a Tuesday. I watched her read it. I watched her sit down very slowly. I watched her put both hands flat on the surface beside it. I stayed in America after the war. I could not leave her alone with all of it. I know that does not make complete sense. I married a woman from Lancaster named Ruth in 1953. I became American in every way a person can become American. Margaret died in 1981. She held my hand at the end. She said, "Friedrich, you are a good man." I have that photograph on my kitchen wall, the one of Margaret and Robert in front of the red barn. Because the photograph is the closest thing I have to a confession. I needed to see their faces every day. I am 99 years old. I have been a good neighbor and a good father and a reasonable man. And I walked past James Kellerman in the dust outside Medjez El Bab, and I read his name, and I kept walking. I sat at her table, and I let her call me a good man, and I never said a word. The photograph is still on the kitchen wall. I do not know what a person is supposed to do with something like that. I look at it every morning.